your American dream?
My American dream is to spread love all over the world. My American dream is to live in a safe world.
American dream is to come here to work because I love this country.
My American dream is to play one day in the NBA.
Out here in America, dreaming every day with my friends over there, and we're just trying to say, hey.
My American dream is good life.
My American dream is the life I'm living right now.
Everyone has a right to the American dream.
Groundhog Sam! All right, you're almost there. You just have to hold it for a little bit longer. Ow! Hello, Brad Squad! How are you today? I'm doing pretty well. You caught me in the middle of a yoga class. I'm teaching yoga to all of my groundhog friends. Well, I thought it would be nice to have a day of tranquility. You're just in time to watch. Do the exercises at home with us. It'll really help you calm your mind. All right, let's go. All right, everybody. We're going to start off with mountain pose. So everyone, pretend you're a mountain. Stand straight and tall and put your little arms as far down as you can go and stretch up. Stretch. Stretch, feel the tension leaving your skull. Yep. Coming right out through your spine, out your skull. Very nice. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Very good. Now we're going to do downward facing dog, except we're calling this downward facing groundhog. Ha 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 ha. Okay. So everybody, you go down and you put your paws on the mat, stretch. Come on, you can do it. Get your tushes. Groundhog Sam! All right, you're almost there. You just have to hold it for a little bit longer. Ow! Hello, Brad Squad! How are you today? I'm doing pretty well. You caught me in the middle of a yoga class. I'm teaching yoga to all of my groundhog friends. Well, I thought it would be nice to have a day of tranquility. You're just in time to watch. Do the exercises at home with us. It'll really help you calm your mind. All right, let's go. All right, everybody. We're going to start off with mountain pose. So everyone, pretend you're a mountain. Stand straight and tall and put your little arms as far down as you can go and stretch up. Stretch. Stretch, feel the tension leaving your skull. Yep. Coming right out through your spine, out your skull. Very nice. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Very good. Now we're going to do downward facing dog, except we're calling this downward facing groundhog. Ha 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 ha. Okay. So everybody, you go down and you put your paws on the mat, stretch. Come on, you can do it. Get your tushes up in the air. Yep. Okay, get those booties up in the air. This is a judge-free room. Excellent. Okay, my fellow groundhogs, you're warmed up. We're gonna do planks. Not so easy, but I know you can handle it. Everybody, put your front paws on the mat again, and you're gonna keep your body straight. That's right. You're going to lift it. Keep it lifted off the mat. Oh, I see you're shaking over there. I understand. It's tough, but try to hold it. Oh, we're going to be so svelte for spring when it finally arrives. I didn't mean to mention that. Perfect. Okay, release. Excellent. So now we're going to cool down, and you're just going to roll your little groundhog heads to the left, to the back. Oh, yeah. Really feel it. Namaste, my gentle groundhog dog. Namaste. Great job. When you're ready, towel off, have some water. Take a sniff of the candle. And when you're ready, just head on out the door. And I'll see you next week for another session. Wow, that was really awesome. I really feel better now. And you know what? I know you guys didn't think that groundhogs can do yoga, but I've been telling you since I showed up around here that I'm pretty precocious for a groundhog. Anyway, now is the time you've all been waiting for. It's time for Brad Show Live, starring Brad Bernstein. Enjoy. Namaste.
Welcome, everybody. Today is Wednesday, March 6, 2024. My name is Brad Bernstein. This is Brad Show Live. We always start off with our groundhog, he or she, whatever it may be, they, he, she, is our Brad Show mascot. Doing a little yoga for the spring. We're all ready to go. Let me say hello to the squad before we get going on our show. I see Kamar Ward with the first comment of the day. Good evening, Brad. How are you? Lisa Rose Carmichael. I wonder if Lisa Rose Carmichael and Lisa Bling Rose are one and the same. I assume so. Tell me, Lisa Rose Carmichael, are you in fact Lisa Bling Rose? Paula Desalier, good evening. How are you? Jewel Delph, what's going on? Jewel saying hello. And Romeo Sawyers, yes, the best show on earth is back. Hello, Brad and the crew. Thank you, Romeo, for all of the nice comment there. And we have Alyssa. How are you, Alyssa? Squad up. Dion, squad up. And Flip Moravec with a pre-schmooze question of the day. He says, hi, Brad. I got a question. I'm waiting about 17 months for removing conditions on my green card. Do you know how much longer? And should I file for my citizenship while waiting? Thank you. Removal of conditions on green card. Some people are waiting 3 or 4 years. If you filed a joint application, you've now been waiting close to 1.5 years. So you're more than 3 years as a lawful resident, and you filed a joint application and you are residing in a bona fide marriage with your spouse. That means you live together and you have a financial relationship. My answer is yes. You should file for your citizenship immediately. And you will be interviewed quicker. And the interview at your citizenship, besides the regular citizenship interview, will also be your I-751 interview. They'll do both interviews at the same time. And as long as you're in a bona fide marriage, they should approve the I-751 and they should approve your citizenship at the same time. So yes, I highly recommend it. Flip. Joyce, squad up. How are you? Pope, squad up. I already said hello to Romeo. And Lisa Rose Carmichael, the best immigration show. It's back. Ask your questions and you will get your answers. I'm like 99.99% sure this is Lisa Bling Rose. She changed her name on us, but that sounds like something Lisa Bling would be writing. Let's say hello to Nikisha. Squad up. How are you, Nikisha? And Abbott Teo saying squad up. Karen saying hi, Brad. Thanks for all of your legal advice. Lizard with another pre-schmooze question of the day. My son recently became a U.S. citizen, and I'm assisting his sister to do her application for an N400. She's 18. When the time comes around, can I hire you to attend with her? And what's the cost? Yes, you can hire us to prepare her for the interview and to represent her at her interview. As a matter of fact, if you're not in the New York area, interviews are done virtually now. So we can represent people in all 50 states. You don't have to come to us. We don't have to come to you. Call our office and we'll let you know what our fees are. And Sade also with a pre-schmooze question of the day. Hi, Brad. I filed my adjustment of status last year, March. When should I expect my green card? I'm married since 2021. What type of green card will I get? When can I apply for citizenship? Woo! That's a lot of questions, Sade. You will get a 10-year green card because you've been married for more than 2 years. You filed last March. If you did everything properly, you should be getting your interview just around now. It's taking 12 to 15 months. And you will apply for your citizenship 3 years after you're approved. Actually, 90 days before the 3-year mark. Mohammed, how are you? I'm actually doing okay, Mohammed. How are you doing? Bree Flan saying, hi, Brad. How are you as well? All right, we're going to do one more pre-schmooze question of the day, and then we're going to get to our schmooze. Our last pre-schmooze question of the day comes from Nikisha. Ninny God picked me a long-time Brad Squad fan. Say, hey, Uncle Brad, I have a question. If someone is about to put in their citizenship at the end of the month, will it be a problem when they go into their interview with immigration if they file taxes this year married but separately? If you are basing your citizenship on marriage to a U.S. citizen for 3 years, yes, it could be problematic. It's based on the totality of circumstances. There are couples who, for tax purposes, will file married filing separately as long as they're showing they're living in the same home. And as long as they have other documentation to show that they have a financial relationship, it's possible to get through. Yes, I prefer joint. Yes, immigration prefers joint, but it's not the end of the world as long as you have, in terms of the totality of evidence, proof that you have a financial relationship and proof that you live together. Damien, squad up. And we have, who is this? I lost my choice. Dill. Hi, Brad. You haven't mentioned my name. Dill Testimony. There you have it. Jirish Jayanman. All right, I said no more pre-schmooze questions, and here we go. Hi, Brad. My lawyer applied for a work permit, I-797, C14 category in November 23. When do you think I should get my work permit? U visa bona fide determination. If you have the bona fide determination already and you applied in November 2023, it should take about 6-7 months. December, January, February, March, April. By May, you should have it. All right, Lizards. Hi. Simone. Hi. All right, this is Brad Show Live coming up. I'm going to be answering your immigration questions. We do have a couple of lines still open. So if you call right now, in about 15-20 minutes, we're going to be opening our lines. I'm going to be talking to you live, answering your legal questions, answering your immigration questions. The number to call to get on our show is at the bottom of the screen, scrolling at the bottom. It says call Spar and Bernstein, 1-800-529-5465. That is the number to call to get on our show. That is the number to call to make an appointment with me. 1-800-529-5465. International, we can take your calls too. Call +1-212-227-8933. We'll put you on our show live. All you need to do is call me, pick up the phone, and just call moi. All right, we're ready to schmooze. Let's do it, Jill. So the U.S. Department of State has released its visa bulletin for March of 2024, and that is a big deal if you are waiting for your priority date to become current so that your green card application can move forward. Now, the visa bulletin is issued every month by the Department of State. It shows which green card applications can move forward, and that's based on when your I-130 or I-140 visa petition that starts the green card process was originally filed. As a matter of fact, if you filed a perm labor application, that would be your priority date if you got sponsored in a job. It also, the visa bulletin lets you estimate how long it's going to take before you're going to get your green card based on how quickly the line is moving. Once your visa petition has been filed or your perm application has been filed, you'll be able to check the visa bulletin and watch your place in line move forward. So the idea is it doesn't matter how long it takes for your case to get approved. Your date is established when your perm application, I-140, I-130 is filed. Now, if you're a spouse, parent, or unmarried child under the 21 of a United States citizen, you're an immediate relative. You do not need to read the visa bulletin. There is no green card backlog for spouse, parent, or unmarried child of a U.S. citizen. You're immediately eligible for your green card. However, if you're the spouse of an unmarried child under the age of 21 of a U.S. green card holder, you're going to have to wait an extra 12 to 18 months for your green card to become available. Those numbers are backing up. About 2 years ago, those numbers were current. So it was taking just as long if you were married to a resident than if you're married to a citizen. But now we're getting a little backlogged in the F2A category. Now, if you're in a different category, your green card wait can vary from years to decades. Now, every month, the Department of State calculates the current backlog for various categories and uses this data to create a projected date of when you're going to get your green card. Those immigrants who have a priority date on before the date can begin the next step in their process by either filing for adjustment of status or filing at the National Visa Center to start processing for your immigrant visa at the consulate abroad. Now, the bulletin posts the dates of filing, which tells you when you can begin the next step. The visa bulletin also posts final action dates. That tells you when your green card is actually available. And the difference between those dates is usually roughly the time immigration expects to process your applications. So the visa bulletin, you got to check it every month so you know when you will be eligible for your green card. Now, as of February 27th, eligible Ukrainians can now apply for re-parole. Ukrainian citizens and their immediate families who are currently in the United States can apply for this re-parole, allowing them to extend their stay temporarily. Now, this opportunity is available for those who were initially paroled into the United States on or after February 1st, 2022. The decision to grant re-parole will be made on a case-by-case basis, considering urgent humanitarian reasons or significant public benefit. Eligible Ukrainians can also now apply for temporary protected status. They have a choice. And my opinion is that, personally, temporary protected status is a more stable and long-term program than the parole program for Ukraine. And throughout my personal observation, it's actually faster to obtain work permits and travel documents through temporary protected status than through parole. Now, the initial parole opportunity for Ukrainians was provided following Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022, allowing them temporary entry and work authorization in the U.S. due to the ongoing crisis in Ukraine. Given the ongoing conflict and the humanitarian situation, this parole opportunity is being extended, along with the opportunity to apply for a temporary protected status. And the number of Afghans granted special immigrant visas, or SIVs, for resettlement in the United States has increased by more than 100% last year, according to new U.S. government data. In 2023, 26,500 SIVs were granted to Afghans, more than double the previous year's total of 11,000, and a record since the program's inception in 2008. More than 18,000 SIVs were issued by U.S. consulates worldwide, with several thousand more Afghans having their statuses adjusted while already in the United States. From August 2021 to September 2022, the United States offered temporary protected status to tens of thousands of Afghans evacuated by the U.S. military following the collapse of the former Afghan government. The unprecedented surge in SIV issuance comes amid strong demands from veteran and advocacy groups for the quick resettlement of Afghans who work for the United States military and other programs in Afghanistan between 2001 and 2021. And in Supreme Court news, the Supreme Court on Monday temporarily froze enforcement of the Texas controversial immigration law that allows state law enforcement to arrest and detain people they suspect of being illegally in the United States. Justice Samuel Alito issued the administrative hold, which will block the law from taking effect until March 13th. That temporary pause will give the court additional time to review the case, but does not necessarily signal which way the court is leaning. The Biden administration and several immigration groups have filed an emergency application with the Supreme Court hours earlier, asking the justices to block enforcement of the law. Without intervention, the law would have gone into effect on March 10th. The Justice Department said that would profoundly alter the status quo that has existed between the United States and the individual 50 states in the context of immigration for almost 150 years. The case has significant implications for immigration law and border enforcement. Texas argued the law was necessary to deter illegal crossings, while the Biden administration contended it conflicted with federal law and the United States Constitution, which gives the federal government authority over all immigration matters. The law passed by the Texas legislature, known as Senate Bill number 4, makes it a crime to cross into Texas from a foreign country anywhere other than a legal port of entry, and usually that is the international bridges between Mexico and the United States. Under a law known as SB 4, any migrant seen by the police waiting across the Rio Grande could be arrested and charged in state court with a misdemeanor on a first offense. A second offense would be a felony. After being arrested, migrants could be ordered during the court process to return to Mexico or face prosecution if they do not agree to go. And meanwhile, President Biden visited the southern border just this past Thursday. At the same time that Donald Trump also made an appearance at the southern border at a different Texas border town. Biden visited Brownsville, Texas, where he met with Border Patrol agents, law enforcement officials, and local leaders. He called on Congress to pass the bipartisan border security deal negotiated in the Senate that Republicans rejected last month after Trump opposed it. Arguing that the bill would win the majority of Democrats and Republicans in both houses, the president called on Republicans and Democrats, including Donald Trump, to just get together and get it done. And remember who we work for God's sake. Meanwhile, Donald Trump, the frontrunner for the Republican nomination, he was in Eagle Pass, Texas, which is a little more than 300 miles from where President Biden was, in Brownsville. Trump met with Texas officials, including Governor Greg Abbott, that governor who signed Texas SB 4 that we just discussed, which allows states to enforce immigration laws. Trump claimed that the United States is being overrun, quote, by the Biden migrant crime. Trump also brought up the murder last week of University of Georgia nursing student Laken Riley in his remarks. Officials say the suspect in her killing, 26-year-old Jose Antonio Ibarra, entered the United States illegally from Venezuela. Trump referred to Ibarra as the monster illegal alien migrant released into the country by President Biden. The border has become, obviously, a very political hotbed in recent months. Amid recent levels of migrant arrivals, House Republicans voted to impeach President Biden's chief border official, Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. There will be a trial in the Senate to see if he will be relieved of duty, and it is unlikely that he will be relieved of duty since the Democrats control the Senate. In addition, the GOP has repeatedly called on Biden to take executive action on immigration. Now, Democrats have attempted to go on the offense on the immigration issue after Republicans rejected the long-sought border deal that would have marked the first comprehensive border security policy reform in Congress in decades. Not 10 years, not 20 years, but the last time they passed a bill of this monumental consequence was when President Bill Clinton was in office in 1996. Biden's campaign has called out Trump for blocking border security. The visit came ahead of Biden's State of the Union address on March 7th, and as the White House has been weighing whether to severely restrict access to the U.S. asylum system. The visit marked Biden's first to the southern border since a trip to El Paso in January 2023. And with all of this going on in the news, according to a recent Gallup poll, immigration is now the number one concern for Americans. In February, 28% of respondents identified immigration as the most pressing issue in the United States of America, and that was up 8 points from January of 2024. Government ranked second at 20%. Economic concerns like the economy in general and inflation followed closely behind. The survey also highlighted partisan divisions, with 57% of Republicans saying immigration is the biggest problem facing America, yet only 10% of Democrats prioritized immigration as a problem. Additionally, a record high 55% of U.S. adults view illegal immigration as a critical national interest. The Gallup poll surveyed 1,016 adults from February 1st to 20th, with a margin of error of 4 percentage points. And immigration attempts at the southwest border of the United States are quickly becoming one of the most important issues, if not the most important issue, for 2024. President Biden, following the failure of a compromise immigration reform bill that went further than any Democrats have ever gone before, just like we just discussed, is now mulling a plan to tighten up the border through executive action. Regardless of what actions take place in the short term, whether by statute or executive action, this is all being done in run-up for the 2024 election. The border crisis is going to be with us well beyond the election of 2024. And there are 4 reasons for this, highlighted in a recent opinion piece published by the Brookings Institute. First, the increase in the number of migrants attempting to enter the United States from various countries all over the world, not just Mexico. There are more people trying to enter the United States from the Mexican border than at any time in the history of the United States. Second, the challenges in hiring and retaining Border Patrol agents due to extensive background checks, physical tests, and competition with other law enforcement agencies. You know, you want to become a police officer, or you want to join the FBI, whatever, or you say, oh, I'm going to join the Border Patrol. To go to the Border Patrol, you got to uproot your family and move to the southern border where, not a lot of big cities, or you can stay where you are and just join the local police force. So it is much more difficult to hire Border Patrol agents than perhaps any other law enforcement position in the federal government. Third problem with managing the border is there's surge management issues. That means you never know on any given day the fluctuations in the numbers of migrants who are going to try to cross the border, and the unpredictability of that surge, kind of like a wave, and it goes down and goes up and goes down. That unpredictability leads to difficulties in figuring out how to staff and what resources to give and where. And finally, the last issue facing whoever the president is the chronic underfunding, the massive backlog of the immigration courts, resulting in years and years and years of delays in people's deportations being heard. Now, the Brookings Institute suggested several potential solutions, including temporarily closing the border to address the overwhelming numbers, recruiting and training more immigration judges to handle the backlogs, implementing a surge management plan similar to the reserve components in the military, and paying higher wages for Border Patrol agents to encourage people to join the Border Patrol. And with all of that being said, with people saying immigration is the number one problem facing America, the numbers don't say that. Immigration, in fact, has propelled the U.S. job market further than just about anyone has ever expected, helping cement the United States of America as the most robust economy in the world. That is not from me. That is according to the Economic Policy Institute. The momentum picked up aggressively over the past year, according to the Economic Policy Institute analysis of federal data, says about 50% of the labor market's extraordinary recent growth came from foreign-born workers who entered the United States between January 2023 and January 2024. And even before that, according to research from the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco, by the middle of 2022, the foreign-born labor force has grown so fast that it closed the labor force gap created by the pandemic. If not for immigrant labor in the last 2 years, we would be facing a huge recession, a huge one. Now, Republicans have increasingly campaigned on the idea that immigrants have hurt the economy and taken American jobs. But quite frankly, any moderate, any reasonable economist says the actual data is opposite. Now, there is not a lot of data on new immigrants in recent years that were documented versus undocumented. But estimates from the Pew Research Center last fall showed the undocumented immigrant population made up about 22% of the total foreign-born U.S. population in 2021. That means almost 1 out of every 4 people who were not born in the United States of America, living in the United States of America right now, is an undocumented immigrant. Now, that's down compared with previous decades. Between 2007 and 2021, the undocumented population fell by 14%. Meanwhile, the legal immigration population grew by 29%. Now, visa processing resumption in 2021 and 2022 boosted employment, filling gaps in the labor force across industries. Immigration also addressed long-term needs like workforce replenishment, crucial as birth rates decline and older individuals retire. Net migration reached its highest level since 2017, with immigrants comprising 18.5% of the entire U.S. labor workforce. Immigration is projected to sustain the number of Americans working over the next decade, helping moderate wage inflation and price levels and keeping inflation even. Now, even before all this came out, because I'm a pretty smart guy, I had posted a video on TikTok about this subject about 2 months ago. Let's watch. The surge at the U.S. border of illegal immigrants coming into the United States actually helps the United States of America. Let me explain why. The Congressional Budget Office, which is nonpartisan, just announced that all of these illegal immigrants coming across the border in the last couple of years are going to add $7 trillion to the U.S. economy over the next decade, including $1 trillion to the U.S. government budget to pay our bills. The surge in population increases the numbers of people that U.S. businesses can sell goods and services to. More housing, more services, more products to sell to people. And the increase in the labor force helps keep wages in line with inflation. The biggest tax to U.S. workers is high inflation. Now, many people may not like illegal immigrants crossing the border for multiple reasons. One, we like to know who's coming across the border. Two, we want people to follow orderly laws. And maybe there's even some people out there who are bigots and say, I don't like people who don't look like me, or don't have my religion, or don't act like me. But in terms of pure economic benefit to the United States of America, immigration is the engine that would keep America the largest economy in the world. All right, and some good news. I came across this article recently. A City Hall wedding marked the end of a journey in New York. Maria Correa and Stalin Alquinga, if I got their names right, along with their daughter Zoemi, tied the knot at the Manhattan City Clerk's office in September 2023 after migrating from Ecuador to New York and being together for 8 years. Their journey began in Quito, Ecuador, where Alquinga recruited Correa to join a local soccer team. Their bond grew as they played together, with Correa being a forward and Alquinga defending. Correa, who has a challenging upbringing, found solace and support in Alquinga. After becoming pregnant with their first child, Zoemi, now 7 years old daughter, Correa moved in with Alquinga's family, eventually getting their own apartment and having their second child, Anders, who is now 3 years old. Facing instability in Ecuador, they decided to migrate to the United States together, and during a perilous journey through 7 countries with their young children, just 2 and 6 at the time. Alquinga's determination to protect his family strengthened their bond as they navigated jungles, rivers, and shelter shortages. Arriving in New York about a year ago, they stayed at the Row Hotel before settling in East Orange, New Jersey. And despite pressure to marry in Ecuador, they waited until they felt ready, choosing to wed in New York in 2023. And they wed because their experience of coming across 7 countries and wading across rivers and entering the U.S. as migrants and protecting their children solidified their relationship, with Correa stating, "Today we know each other very well. He knows my character. I know his character." And obviously it was meant to be. So congratulations to them. That is our schmooze for the day. And we are going to get into our meat and potatoes in about 2 minutes. But before I get into my meat and potatoes, I want to talk about a Spar and Bernstein success story. And by the way, for those who never watched before, the meat and potatoes is me answering your immigration questions live. That's what everybody comes here for Bradshaw Live to see. We're going to be doing that in about 2 minutes. But before I do that, I want to talk about Zenar. Became a client of Spar and Bernstein, and 2 other lawyers had told her she would never be able to obtain permanent residence in the United States. But when she came to me for a consultation, I assured her there was a way to help her. And lo and behold, she is now a green card holder. She actually flew all the way in from Texas with her green card. The week after she got her green card, she bought a plane ticket to come and thank me in person and shake my hand and give me the biggest hug I probably ever got from a client, because she was so happy. And we did our whole case from Texas. virtually. And only after she got her green card, she actually came and saw us. Let's watch.
Thank you, Brett, so much. You did it. I mean, a lot of lawyers was before that. I mean, you are number third. And
Right.
when you told me like, fire them, hire me, I trust you. And now I'm so happy I did it.
And I remember when I first met you, you were so sad, and now look how happy. And now look how happy you are.
Yes, I am,
Yeah.
because of you and your team.
thank you.
Marina also,
Yes.
I wish she's here, but she's in Connecticut right
Yes,
now. I
yes.
visit you in person too. I like to visit your team.
You came all the way from Texas
Yes.
to visit us, right?
I came from Texas,
Yeah.
especially say to thank you, to
thank
see
you.
and share my happiness with you guys.
Well,
yes.
I wish you all the best in the world. You're a wonderful person. You deserve it all, and congratulations on obtaining
Thank
your
you very
permanent
much.
residence.
Nobody was believing on my, like other lawyers was telling me like, hey, you will not get your green card. Just you say like, no, they don't know what they're doing, and I trust you. And now I'm so glad I did that.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Oh, Brett.
That sounds like my advice. Fire them, hire me. I'll help you. All right. And as complicated as your immigration situation may be, I do have to remind everybody, Spar and Bernstein will do everything in our power to get your status straightened out. And we will discuss the best options for you in a consultation. But you got to make the first move and schedule your consultation by contacting us at 1-800-529-5465 or internationally at +1 212-227 3636. You could also send us a private message through our social media pages, or you can go on our website and text us or send us an email through our website at www.lawsb.com. All right, we're ready for some meat and potatoes. We're going to be answering your immigration questions in about 15 seconds. Let's do it. All right, we have Maria from Las Vegas, Nevada. Maria.
Yeah. Hi, Brad.
Hi, how are you?
Hello.
How you doing?
Okay. I'm doing good. Yeah, thank you.
My
well,
pleasure.
I have a couple of questions to
Yeah,
you.
go ahead.
Yeah, this is my case. I had my green card received last April 30, 2021, and it was expired last April 2023. But before that, I applied for my extension, my renewal.
So you got your green card through marriage to a U.S. citizen, and you filed to extend you filed the I-751. Was that based on a joint application with your husband?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
I
continue.
did. So then I received a 48 months extension of my green card.
Right.
So I did not receive my green card yet. My question is, can I apply for my U.S. citizen without the green card?
When did you get the conditional green card?
I have two. I received the conditional
2021.
green
You said
card.
you got the
Yes,
original one in
2021.
2021. What month did you say? I forgot.
Yes, April 30, 2021.
Okay. So
And
the
then-
answer is this. I have your answer already. The answer is this. You've been a permanent resident, conditional, but a permanent resident since April of 2021. You're in presumably a bona fide marriage with your spouse. You have filed to remove the conditions of your residence. You are now have a green card 22, 23, 24. You're past your 3-year mark of being a lawful resident of the United States. You have every right to
Yes.
file for your citizenship. You should do so immediately. You should file your N-400. And when you file your N-400, you will probably get a quicker result than waiting on the decision on your I-751 on your extension. And when you go for your interview for your citizenship, bring your spouse with you, and they're going to interview you for both the extension and the citizenship simultaneously, and hopefully you'll get it and you'll become a citizen.
Oh, thank you. So even if I have those notices for, like I got two. The
Yes.
one is on February 6th and another one on March 15th.
Yeah.
So I was confused because I got two, the same
But you
extension for 48 months.
You have extensions. You're in legal status. You've been a resident for more than 3 years. File your citizenship.
Yes. So,
All right.
so that was my first question.
Oh, we have multiple questions. Okay,
Yeah.
second question.
So the second question is, my sister got a green card last September 2023.
Right.
But then she has a visitor's visa that will expire on 2030, which was taken in Manila, Philippines, of course.
Right.
Can he cancel the Manila tourist visa, or it's automatic?
It's automatically canceled once she got her green card.
But then she went to the Philippines, and then she was questioned in the immigration, and they did the stamp on the U.S. Tourist visa rather than the.
Well, then she was inspected improperly, so she should give me a call. Then she should have been inspected as a lawful resident. You told me she has a green card, so somebody made a mistake. Once you have your green card, your visa is good, and you should be showing your permanent residence and entering as a permanent resident. So we need to fix that. Yeah, we need to fix that problem. If she has a lawful resident, they inspected her as a visitor. She's not. So we need to fix that problem.
Yeah. What will be that problem? Because the immigration told her that you will have a problem. You have to cancel your tourist visa in the Philippines.
No, you don't have to cancel anything. No, something got screwed up at the airport. Okay. We have to go back to inspections, Customs and Border Patrol, and fix the problem. She should call me immediately.
Okay. Thank you so much, Brad.
Thank you. All right. Good luck.
Bye.
Let's go to Samin in Queens. Samreen, excuse me. Hi, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Good. What's going on?
Yeah, long time, very long time talking to you.
I don't hear you, Samreen.
Yeah, maybe you remember me. I came to your office. Anyway, so I was a green card holder by your all the guidance, thanks card in 2015. Then in 2018, I filed for my 3 children back there in Pakistan. And it got approved after 1 year. It got approved by the USCIS. Then, as usual, they sent it to the NVC. NVC took like another year, and all the documentary is completed, approved. And then Mr. Corona came, and that's how it take every 60-day email, receiving email, not scheduling any interview, even it's documentary qualified. Then, for one of the child, they keep his file here in NVC. When you go to the CEAC website, and the 2 of them, they send it to the US Embassy in Pakistan, Islamabad. So last year in March, I become a US citizen. Then I upload the documents to NVC that I'm a citizen now. They did 3 of them IR2 category. They changed immediately, and then I was waiting long time, like 2-3 months. Then I have to go back to vacation. Last year, March, I came U.S. citizen, and then I upload documents.
Your kids are not here still, basically, right?
Huh?
Your kids are still not here.
Still not here, yes.
Okay.
And
so wait a second. You filed an I-130 visa petition for them when?
2018.
And you became a citizen when?
Last year on March.
All right. So there, at this point, I mean, what a violation of your children's rights. 5 years waiting for kids when it shouldn't be that long. Your kids are in Pakistan. It's like a black hole in Pakistan trying to get a visa appointment there. The answer is one of 2 things. You're either going to end up suing the government to force them to do their job, which is schedule a visa appointment for your children, or at the very least, we got to call and harass the hell out of the embassy in Pakistan to schedule an appointment. One or the other.
Okay.
All right.
Got it. Mm-hmm.
All right. So call me offline. We'll help you. All right. Let's go to Chris in Brooklyn. Chris.
Hi. Yes, Mr. Brad.
Hi. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks. I just got 2 questions. First, I filed for my citizenship a few months ago. Can I go on an international trip?
Yes. As long as it's not for more than 6 months.
No, for 7 days. And the next question. So my mom came and they give her a really hard time at JFK, and they write a whole lot of stuff in the passport. Since I filed for my citizenship, can she stay?
She came on a legal visa.
Yes.
Okay, so if she came on a legal visa, what's the worst thing that happened? She overstays her visa. Let's just talk this. Okay, she overstays her visa. Okay, you just heard me say in our schmooze, 1 out of 4 people are undocumented in the U.S., so she just joins that group. Once you become a citizen, which citizenship is taking less than 6 months right now, so it's really fast. So as long as you don't have as long as you don't have any skeletons in your closet, you should be a citizen. You already started by the end of the summer at the latest. So let's assume she overstays a few months. Big deal. You're a citizen, and then she'll file her adjustment the next day. It's perfectly okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so it's okay for us. Thank you so much.
All right. Good luck.
Thanks.
All right. Let's go to Mike in Columbus, Ohio. Mike. As long as you don't have any skeletons.
Hey, Brad. I have a quick question for you.
Yes.
Good. Now, my question to you is, I had a case pending with the CIA.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's been pending for about 2 or 3 years now.
Right.
It was for 204C. Now, I checked, my lawyer checked, which I don't know how good it is.
One second, Mike. I just got to educate everybody. 204C means that the Immigration Service denied your green card based on marriage because they either said your current marriage or a prior case that you filed was a marriage fraud. So you're appealing saying it was not a marriage fraud, I assume, correct?
That is correct.
Right. Okay. So what was it? How many times you've been married?
Twice.
Okay. So I assume, tell me if I'm incorrect, I assume they don't have a problem with your current marriage. They have a problem with the prior marriage.
That is correct.
Okay. So what they're saying is you went through this process once and we think that was a fraud marriage. And now you're going back again and too effing bad, excuse my language. You don't get a chance to ever get a green card again if we think you committed marriage fraud. So, and there's no waiver for that. Now, I would argue that filing an appeal will take years, and the appeals board is basically a rubber stamp of immigration and unlikely to overcome that denial. There is no waiver for that. These 204C cases are fact-based arguments, which means we have to go, or your lawyer has to go through with a fine-tooth comb all of the evidence that they have saying your first marriage was bogus, was a fraud. And you have to present evidence to rebut that and say, no, you're wrong because I have this. No, you're wrong because I have this. I have people saying this. I have other people saying this. So, and you have to rebut that evidence. And at the end of the day, if you can show that 51%, you don't have to show your first marriage, the two of you were Romeo and Juliet. What you have to be able to show is that that 51% of the facts show your first marriage was real, and maybe 49% of the facts show your marriage may have been a fraud. But if more evidence says it's real than fraud, you win. So,
okay.
I don't know what was presented. It's very possible you have overwhelming evidence showing that your first marriage was a fraud and this appeal is appropriate. Generally speaking, when I've taken these cases over from other lawyers, my general advice after reviewing it is the lawyer didn't do such a great job. I think we should withdraw the appeal because the appeals take a long time. We can't add anything to it and refile and do it again. But I think step one, in order for me to help you, would be to review what evidence do you have to show it's real? What evidence do you have that immigration has to say it's bogus? What evidence do we have that has not already been submitted to show that immigration's incorrect? That's what needs to happen now. Your appeal is going to take forever.
Last time we heard from the BIA, says it's been off the docket in October. We got a notice saying it's off the docket. So I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
It means forever. It means forever. I'm not lying when these cases take forever on appeal. So unless you have like the strongest case in the world, I wouldn't be doing an appeal. I would just be arguing back with immigration saying, you're wrong. We got a lot of evidence saying this is real. You have the right to file over and over and over again until you get it right. So as I said, I don't know your case yet. It's fact-based, and there's no way that I can read through your file here on a live show. But I'm telling you, generally, my advice is generally to withdraw the appeal, refile again, even with more evidence to show that the first marriage was real. But you're going to need a consultation. Okay. Hold on one second. Let's go to Leeson. Is it Leeson?
Hi.
Hi, Leeson. Am I pronouncing it right?
Yes, Leeson.
Leeson. Okay, great. What's going on? How can I help you?
Hi, I have a son. I'm living in Canada right now at all. And I have a son. He's now 17 since last month. He was living with his dad in the U.S. and he came here. I went for him to spend the summer holiday in 2018, and he hasn't been back.
Right.
The pandemic will hold him here, and now he wants to. I want him to return to his dad to reunite, but I don't know how to go about doing that.
He's a Canadian citizen?
No, he's a PR, U.S. Permanent resident.
And how long has he been outside? How long has he been outside of the U.S.?
From July 2018.
How old is he now?
He's 17 now.
Is the dad a citizen?
Yes, his dad is a citizen in the U.S.
Okay. Well, as a minor, you can't abandon your permanent residence till you're 18. So, because you don't have control over where you're living. I would send him back right now. He's still a minor. He'll be allowed in. If he goes to reside with his father as a resident who's under 18, residing with a U.S. citizen father, he will become an automatic U.S. citizen. And I would have the father apply for a U.S. passport, and then we don't have any problems ever and again.
Okay, so but can he return on this expired PR card, because it expired from the 20th of August 2020.
When does he turn 18?
Next year, February.
I would go to the U.S. Embassy with him and get what's called an SB1 visa if the green card expired, and let him come back to the United States with the SB1 visa. He still can get it because he's under 18. That allows a returning permanent resident to return who has an expired green card, who hasn't been there for a while. That's what he needs to do right now. I can help you. Hold on one second. All right. Let's go to Petra in Brooklyn. Hi, Petra.
Hi, Brad. How you doing?
Good, good. What's happening?
I'm calling on behalf of my friend. She got married in the U.S. In December.
Mm-hmm.
She came into the U.S. on a visitor's visa. She got married and left. How soon can she file the I-130 from her home country?
She married a U.S. citizen?
Yes, she's currently on deployment in the U.S.
Okay, yeah. She could file it tonight.
Oh, yeah. And how long does it take
About
since
2
she
years.
married someone in the military?
It's still 2 years, but, she'll just have to wait it out.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Let's go to Jackson in Virginia. Jackson.
Yes.
Hi, Jackson. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. What can I do to help you?
Sorry?
How can I help you?
Yeah. I actually happened to have got my green card back in 2020. It was sent to the wrong address, for which I went to the address and I tried to look for the green card, and they said they'd send it back to the USIS. So I had to reapply, and I did I-190. But it's 1 year down the line. I called them, and they keep saying that the waiting time has been extended. So I don't know what I should do.
When did you were granted your green card? How long ago? Your permanent residence?
That was back in 2022, August.
How did you get your green card? Who sponsored you?
My spouse. I traveled out from Kenya.
Okay. I've seen situations where people never got their green cards after 3 years and just applied for their citizenship. You are a permanent resident of the United States. I don't know what happened to your green card because I haven't obviously handled your case, but I have seen situations like this sometimes in the past. Question for you: you have a stamp in your passport that shows you're a temporary resident?
Yes, I do, but it's expiring this March, so.
Okay, so you're going to have to go down, make an info pass appointment, go down, put a stamp in your passport again. If it's more than a year, I mean, you have two choices. You know, the stamp in your passport is your lawful residence, so it's not the end of the world. But if you physically feel better having that green card in your hand, you know, you got two choices. You can just wait it out, or you can threaten what's called the pre-litigation mandamus, threaten to sue the government. They're violating your rights. I mean, you've been a permanent resident since 2022. You have a right to get a green card in your hand at some point. But if not, then, you know, another year, you're going to file for your citizenship anyway. And okay, I've seen situations where people never got their green card and became a U.S. citizen. That may be you.
Okay, so after the 3 years, as long as I have the stamp, I can still file for citizenship.
Yeah. So I would just go down and get the stamp. I wouldn't spend the money on pre-litigation mandamus. It's not worth it. Eventually, they'll mail you your green card. You have the stamp in your passport. You can use it to travel. You can use it to work. You can use it to do your thing. And next year, you'll do your citizenship.
Okay, because I already called for the stamp and they said they're going to give me an appointment. So I think I will go by that as I wait.
Right. All right.
Thank you so much.
All right. Good luck. All right. Let's go to Natasha in San Antonio, Texas. Natasha. Hi, Natasha.
Hello.
Hi, Natasha. How are you?
I'm fine. How you doing? Hello.
Hello. I'm still here.
Yes. So my question is, I got my asylum in 2021. My green card in 2021. But before that, I got married to a U.S. citizen. I've been waiting for my regular 5 years to apply for citizenship, and someone just told me recently that I can apply for citizenship after 3 years, accounting on the fact that my husband is actually an active U.S. Army military person. So I wanted to get your advice. Like, is it can I apply this because if I'm supposed to
actually
for my green card?
Actually, Natasha, what you thought was the law was wrong, and what somebody told you was also wrong. This is what the law says. It doesn't matter if he's in the military or not. If you have your green card for 3 years and you're in a bona fide marriage with a U.S. citizen, whether or not he's in the military or not, you're entitled to file for your citizenship. You got your green card in 2021. I assume we're at the 3-year mark. As long as you can show it's a bona fide marriage, which means you physically live together, have a financial relationship, do your citizenship right now.
Yeah, but the issue is I had my green card for asylum, not for my husband.
How long have you been married?
Almost 4 years now.
It doesn't matter how you got your green card. What matters is you're a lawful resident and you reside with a U.S. citizen for 3 years.
Okay.
The answer is do your citizenship. But it wasn't based on what you thought, and it wasn't based on what your friend thought. It's based on you have a green card, you live with your husband for 3 years, he's a U.S. citizen. It doesn't matter how you got your green, you got through asylum, it doesn't matter.
All right, thank you. So if we always file our tax married separately. So I just heard you advising someone that it might be an issue. So I don't know, do I add in more documents to support the marriage or not?
Yeah, it's based on the totality of circumstances, which is they look at everything and then they weigh it all. When you have a joint tax return, you're saying I'm jointly responsible for the debts of my husband's taxes and he's jointly responsible for the debts of my taxes. When you file separately, you're saying he's responsible for his taxes, I'm responsible for my taxes, even though you're showing you still live in the same home together. It's two things to prove. It's two things to prove a bona fide marriage. You live in the same home. So that tax return would indicate you're living in the same home because your address is the same. But you still have to show some sort of financial commingling of funds. So if it's not the tax return, it's your bank statement showing that you're jointly paying bills together and things of that nature.
Oh, okay. I can even put their mortgage contract together on it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
Good luck. All right, let's go to Jason in Neenah, Wisconsin. Jason.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good.
What can I do to help you today?
Hey, oh, okay, I'm talking to you. I'm looking at your
Talking to me. You're talking to me, yes.
This is my first time. Okay, so I have plenty of questions. I was living in Ohio, which I moved from Ohio. I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
I hear you, Jason. You were living in Ohio and you moved from Ohio. That's
Yeah.
all I know so far.
Yeah, due to domestic violence, I was incarcerated for 24 hours.
You were incarcerated? So you were charged with domestic violence?
No. My husband was the one that was charged.
Okay.
I mean, I had a restraining order against him.
Got it. Understand. Okay.
Yeah. I had a restraining order against him. So he was the one that violated it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he violated the restraining order. And I had to move from state. So I was living in Ohio. I moved to Wisconsin, and I had a pending asylum because I was at the border like 3 years back, and I requested asylum at the border. So I'm an alien. I have a social security due to my work permit. I mean, due to the asylum is pending. So the point is that I did not, due to all of those problems that I had in Ohio, I just moved out. I just moved out from that, and I didn't I didn't tell the court nothing that I was moving. So when I came here, I sent 2 weeks back, I sent a notice that I'm changing address, and then I received a letter stating that that I was failed to appear. And I called the court from Cleveland, Ohio, and I told them why I'm getting this. I have my court date was booked for 2025, not this year. So they say that I did not change my address, blah, 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 whatever. The point is that I sent an appeal, and I received a message from DHS or something like that.
Jason.
Stating that.
Jason.
Huh?
Stop.
Okay.
Who is sending this appeal? You doing this all on your own?
Yeah, my friend.
Jason, let me give you some really good advice. A lawyer who represents himself or herself has a fool for a lawyer. Stop representing yourself. This is why you have a problem. Okay, you have been ordered deported. There is a warrant out for your arrest. You need to reopen, not appeal. There's no appeal of this. You were ordered deported. End of story. What are you appealing? You didn't show up. You need to reopen this case, and you need to file a motion to reopen. Now you're screwed up because your case is with the BIA. It should be with the judge. It's much harder to reopen with the BIA. So I said, stop representing yourself. You need to make a motion to reopen and argue my rights were violated because I had a notice to appear in court in 2025. I was the victim of domestic violence. I had to run from my spouse, and you're sending me notices to where I was victimized. How would you expect me to know that you changed the court date? Mm-hmm. So that's the argument that has to be made. And obviously they're going to say, well, you had a responsibility to change your address, and obviously you didn't, but you also have excuse. I was traumatized, running for my life from domestic violence. You think I'm thinking of AR-11, change of address? But you need to make that motion to reopen. And the longer you sit on your rights to make that motion to reopen, the harder it is, because the judge is going to say, you're sitting on your rights. Why didn't you do this from the beginning? Well, I was representing myself. I don't know any better. It's not an excuse. Stop being a lawyer. Hold on. You need help, a lot of it. Hold on. Let's go to Jackie in Salem, Oregon. Jackie.
This is Jackie.
Hi, Jackie. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. How are you?
Good. What's happening?
So, I am an American citizen, came from Brazil 25 years ago.
Right.
My daughter has a family there. She's over 21, and I filled out an I-130 for her 9 years ago. Is there anything that we could do to, move that faster so she can,
So she's married.
She's married and has 2 kids.
Right. Okay. So I don't know if you watched the whole show, but I started my schmooze talking about the visa bulletin. And she's in the F3 category, which is backed up to about, 2010 or 2009, something like that. So if you filed 9 years ago, she has a priority date of 2014. The only way, there's no way, even if you knew Joe Biden, you knew Hunter Biden, you knew any of the Bidens, there's nothing anyone can do to jump the line. The line's the line. The only thing she can do, I'm not telling you to break up her family, the only thing she could do is change the line she's sitting on. So if she were to get divorced from her spouse, she would go from F3 to F1. That priority date stays, that 2009 filing, and then she would be eligible for a green card because unmarried sons or daughters, that priority date is current. And she would be able to come with her children who are under 21, but the spouse would have to figure out his own way because she's now divorced. He's not part of the family anymore. That would be the only way to speed it up.
Well, yeah, they wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, so unfortunately then you're looking at probably another 5 years or 4 years. The only other option would be to find a different way for them to get a green card. Perhaps investment visa if they have money. Perhaps a job sponsorship if they have skills and an employer who would be willing to prospectively sponsor them. But from your family-based case, the only way to speed it up is for her to get a divorce.
Yeah. I was thinking, I hear about when they come in here to the States and overstay their visa, they can be adjustment status. That would not work with them, right?
That would not work with them. They would be illegal and would not be eligible to adjust.
Yeah. No, we don't want that. Okay. How about that work visa that people are applying and coming to the U.S.?
There's a lot of different work visas. There's a lot of different work visas. There's not just one. So we would have to have a consultation to figure out what, if any, there's 3 ways to get a green card. Actually, 5 ways to get a green card. Family, you already tried it. Employment, getting sponsored in a job. Investment, asylum, visa lottery. Brazil's not part of the visa lottery. So I assume there's nothing that's going on with them in their lives in Brazil that they would apply for asylum. So you're left with investments or employment. But we would need to have a consultation or employment. We would need to have a consultation to figure out if they qualify. If not, then you just have to wait it out. So hold on one second. I'm happy to help. Let's go to Nigel in Brooklyn. Nigel.
Yes. Hi, Brad. How are you?
Hi. How are you?
Brad, I wanted to find out something. Is there something called a registry for someone who have been here for about 20 years?
There's registry for people who've been here since 1972, which is an old form. It's an old form of amnesty. So if you can show that you've been living illegally in the United States since January 1st, 1972, you can just apply for your adjustment under the registry program. There's not that many people left in the United States who are living illegally. I can't imagine there's more than a dozen or 2 dozen people that would still qualify who are alive and have been illegal in the United States since the late 60s, early 70s. As a matter of fact, every time they talk about there should be a new amnesty, what they talk about a lot is moving the registry date, which would be the most simple thing to do. Say, instead, registry is no longer January 1st, 72. We're going to make it January 1st, 2020. Anybody who's been illegal since that date can put in their adjustment. But obviously, it's not happening right now.
It hasn't been done. Oh, okay. So what about for someone who, for a mother filing for somebody over 21?
What about it?
Can that be done?
Of course, but it's going to take a long time. You just heard this last caller, Jackie from Salem, Oregon, waiting for her daughter for over a decade.
Oh, okay.
All right.
All right, thanks.
Whoever you're talking about, have them call for a consultation. We'll figure out what we can do. All right.
Okay, then, no problem. Thanks.
Welcome. All right, let's go to Camille in Queens. Camille. Hi, Camille.
Hi, Brad. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Okay, so my question to you is, I'm undocumented. My boyfriend is a green card holder. If I marry him, what are my chances of adjusting my status and the time frame?
Well, you can't adjust your status married to a permanent resident as an undocumented alien unless you are 245I, which means that you had an application filed before 2001 or you were derivative on your parents' applications filed before 2001. There's not a lot of people left in the world who are still 245I. There's still people, but not a lot. When you say undocumented, I assume you came here on a visa, correct?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So your boyfriend, how long has he been a green card holder?
For like 30 years.
Okay. So here's what. You marry him. I file his citizenship. Takes less than 6 months. You're now married for 6 months. That gives you time to show you're living together. He becomes a citizen in 6 months. Now you're married to a U.S. citizen. Now you can put in your adjustment application and you would get your green card.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Let's go to Natalie in the Bronx. Natalie.
Yes, good evening.
Hi, how are you?
Good evening, Brad. I have a question. My brother, he came through the border and his girlfriend is going to marry him. But ICE took his passport. How can he get a certified copy of his passport? Because would they need it to get a married license?
Well, you need ID to get married. So if ICE has his passport, your attorney, or if you don't have an attorney, you'd have to hire an attorney to contact ICE to get it back.
Oh, okay.
Right.
And then how can he get an ID?
Well, once he gets married, if he was paroled in or made a legal entry or whatever the case may be, then he would file an
paroled.
Okay, then he would file an adjustment and get a work permit.
Okay, so he can't obtain any ID now until he's married.
Not from the United States, no. Well, wait,
okay.
I take that back.
Mm-hmm.
If he was paroled in, it's most likely because he made some sort of claim for asylum. If you make a claim for asylum and actually file that asylum application, you can get a work permit in 180 days, married or not.
He didn't file for the asylum because his girlfriend is going to marry him. That's why he didn't do that. Can he still do that and get it?
As long as he's been here for less than 1 year, yes.
He's over a year now.
Then unlikely he can do it. Get married as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm.
That comes down to you snooze, you lose. You can't sleep on your rights.
Okay, so he can marry without the and then after adjustment is started.
Yeah, but we need to get the passport back. He needs to have ID to get married. All right, hold on. Let's go to Eric in Silver Spring, Maryland. Eric.
Hi, Brad.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing okay. I have some couple of questions. So, came to the United States in 2013 through the Mexico border. Applied for asylum. Got denied last year. Made an appeal with the BIA.
Right.
So, met with this lawyer. The lawyer was trying to advise me. I could, because now I'm married to a U.S. citizen and we have 3 kids. So, but we did that after the asylum denied. So the lawyer was advising me I could file for I-130.
Right.
So my wife was a U.S. citizen. So I was wondering, is there a possibility for this? Because he was also saying
the answer is yes. Right now you're living under an order of deportation. You should file an I-130 immediately. You have children. There should be a motion to reopen for prosecutorial discretion so that ICE doesn't come and deport you. Whether or not you are otherwise eligible to adjust your status or you're going to do a provisional waiver and go home and come back depends on the specific facts of your case. But as a general rule, as a general rule, what your lawyer is saying is correct.
So with that I-194, do I still have to go back home and come back?
No.
Okay.
All right. So I think you should have a consultation with me. Hold on. All right. So that is our meat and potatoes for the day. I answered 14 questions. I do have to remind everybody to follow us on Facebook at Bradshaw Live. Follow us on YouTube at Bradshaw Live, on Instagram at Bradshaw Live, and Real Brad Bernstein, on X, formerly Twitter, at Bradshaw Live, and on Threads at Bradshaw Live, and on TikTok at Brad Bernstein Law. Visit us at the law offices of Spahn Bernstein on the web at lawsb.com. And later in the show, I will be answering questions viewers are writing in the comment section. So put your questions right now. I'm going to be answering that in about 2 minutes. But before I go to answer your comments in the comment section, in something we call social media check-in, I do have to remind everybody that Spar and Bernstein handles personal injury claims as well as immigration cases. And when it comes to motor vehicle accidents, New York is a no-fault state, meaning that regardless of who has caused the accident, your insurance company will cover your medical expenses within the coverage limit. Today, I'm going to explain what the deadline is for filing a no-fault claim, what a serious injury is according to New York state law, and when you should file a motor vehicle accident claim. Let's watch. You must file your no-fault claim with your insurance company within 30 days of the accident. According to the New York State insurance law, a serious injury includes death, significant disfigurement, dismemberment, fracture, loss of a fetus, permanent loss of a use of a body organ, member, function, or system, permanent consequential limitation of a body organ or member, a significant limitation of use of a body system or function, or any medically determined injury or impairment of a non-permanent nature which prevents the injured person from performing substantially all of the material acts which constitute such person's usual and customary daily activities for not less than 90 days during the 180 days immediately following the occurrence of the injury or impairment. In New York, you have 3 years from the date of the accident to file a lawsuit for pain and suffering and economic loss in a motor vehicle accident against third parties. In addition, you must file for no-fault benefits, which includes reimbursement for lost wages and medical bills, within 30 days from the date of the accident. After this period expires, you lose the right to seek compensation. If you're communicating directly with the insurance company, the negotiation process may take several years. That is why having an experienced legal attorney by your side is crucial to filing a claim and securing a settlement. In New Jersey, you should file a motor vehicle claim within 2 years. Contact us at Spar & Bernstein for a free consultation regarding your case. We'll discuss your options and your next steps. All right, we're going to go to, oh, by the way, before we go to social media check-in, I do have to remind everybody that no matter your immigration status, even undocumented immigrants still have rights in car accidents. That includes the right to sue for compensation. So if you are injured in a car accident, there is only one telephone number to call, and that is 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-LAW-LINK. Save that number in your phone. You never know when you will get into a car accident. You just dial the number and hang up. You now have it locked in your phone. A good personal injury lawyer in your phone. You can call immediately. The best, I always like when I remember telephone numbers, I dial the number 1-800-529-5465. I ring it. I hear Spar & Bernstein. I hang up. Who cares? Now I know I have the number saved for life, because you never know when you're going to need a good accident lawyer. 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAW-LINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. All right, let's go to social media check-in, Jilly. And as always, our first couple of questions on social media check-in come from our very important person, Brad Squad Questions. people part of the Brad Squad are very important people in this show. They run the show. Without Brad Squad, there is no show. So we give them preferential treatment. In order to become a Brad Squad member, you just got to join our group on Facebook, Brad Squad, and put an application into Jilly. She approves everybody as long as you're a decent person. All right, our first question comes from Dill Testimony. I was granted asylum last month. Can I submit my green card application immediately? New forms will update on April. Can I join the queue or must I wait 90 days to my 1-year deadline? You got to wait exactly 1 year before filing for your asylum. So after 1 year, so if you got it last month, you can't file until February of next year. As if Khan has a question, it's been 27 months and we haven't heard anything from USCIS regarding our humanitarian reinstatement approval. Is this normal? My petition was approved in 2011 before my dad passed away in 2016. He was a U.S. citizen. My mother has a green card and she is the substitute sponsor now. Sadly, it is normal. Humanitarian waivers are sometimes taking 30 to 36 months. So unfortunately, you're going to have to wait a few more months, unfortunately. Laura Espinoza, approved I-130, but was withholding of removal. Can he adjust here in the U.S.? If adjustment is filed, do we need to wait outside the country with withholding of removal? Well, he was obviously put in deportation, whoever you're talking about, and maybe that's your husband. It depends on how he entered the United States. If he came on a visa or was paroled in, you can reopen the case to adjust. Otherwise, he may have to go home with a waiver and return. And then whether or not it's safe for him to go home because he has withholding removal, that's a whole other story. Gia Ark Bartholomew with a question. The husband filed for the petition, and I filed for adjustment of status. We failed to submit one evidence, so they denied my case. But the I-130 is still pending. Is it possible to file for motion to reopen or reconsider? Is it better to refile everything? You know, it's the question of the ages. My opinion is refile everything. You have a pending I-130, so you don't need to pay for that again. Just file a new adjustment with the proper documentation. That will be the fastest way, in my opinion, for you to get a green card. You don't have to pay the I-130 filing fee again because it's pending. So just show proof that the I-130 is still pending and put in a new adjustment application. That's always my advice. All right, those are our VIP questions of the day. Let's see who's asking questions in the comments section. As I scroll through here, let's see what we got. All right. Romeo Sawyers. Brad, I have a friend waiting for her green card, but it did not come in the mail. She reapplied back for it. How long for it to come back to her? I don't know, but usually it's 6 months. Valbert Harley, excuse me. Hi, Brad. My I-45 was denied for affidavit and tax documents for my wife. Can I get an appeal? Can you deal with that? There is no appeal of an I-45. You can make a motion to reopen. You can refile again. I just answered that question before. I generally believe refiling is the best way to go. And the answer is yes, you can call me, 1-800-529-5465. All right, Alaje Alani. Hi, how long I'm going to wait for my green card VAWA along with I-35? My VAWA was approved a year ago. If you filed the adjustment and the VAWA concurrently, and your VAWA was approved a year ago, your adjustment should just be about done 12 to 15 months after. Fred. Hi, Brad. I'm from Kenya. My green card was sent to the wrong address back in August 2022. I filed the I-90, but when I call, they keep saying to wait. Should I reapply? You can reapply. I don't think it'll hurt, but, you know, unfortunately, as long as you have a stamp in your passport, there's not a lot you can do. Cherry. If I file for someone like my son or daughter who lives elsewhere, will they be able to still travel to the U.S. back and forth? You can file for them. If they have valid visas, they'll be able to travel back and forth. They may not be able to renew their visa. Willie. Hi, Uncle Brad. I got my I-360 approved. That's the VAWA case. But I do have a deportation order back in 2008. I did ask for forgiveness by enjoying documents, and I've been waiting for over 16 months. I don't know what you mean by forgiveness. You would have to make a motion to reopen your deportation case, Willie. That's what you would need to do. Aretha. What happens if you marry a citizen that owes taxes? He files taxes every year, but got a notice a few months ago that he owes taxes for a few years back. The 2 years he owes taxes for is before we met. As long as he's on a payment plan and as long as he earns money above the poverty level, it's be perfectly fine. Don't worry about it. Sally Osman. I came to the U.S. in 2014 and granted Convention Against Torture. And today, to annually report data, told to go back to 3 other consulate to get travel document. I don't know if you're going to get a travel document with Convention Against Torture. I don't think they're going to grant you one. And if they don't and you leave, you will self-deport. The Accent YouTuber, hey, Brad, currently in California. I just filed my citizenship last week, Monday. How long before receipt or I hear something? It takes about 6 months for citizenship. It's coming in pretty fast. Camille, hi, Brad. My son is 19 years old. Can I file for him? Yeah, if you're a resident or citizen, why not? Serene, hey, Brad, if you are out of status, can your sister, who is a U.S. citizen, file for you? Will you have to go home if that happens, or is it best for her to file for your mother than file for you? The answer is file for your sister now. She's going to wait 10 to 12 or 15 years. File for the mother, too. Yes, she would have to go home. She can't get a waiver through you, but she can get a waiver through the mother. But the mother is going to, obviously be here before the priority date is reached. File for sister and mother simultaneously. Mom gets her green card. Eventually, when sister gets her appointment back home, she does a provisional waiver through mom. That's the answer. Jennifer Santos, hi, Brad. Is it okay to apply for a tourist visa for an adult unmarried child of an LPR, even if the I-130 has been recently filed for him? What are the chances of getting approved? Yes, it's okay. Unlikely will be approved because he's already shown an immigrant intent. SN, I'm unable to get a visa, but I need to travel to Europe in transit, and going through the U.S. is much cheaper. Is there a visa that can accommodate this? Yes, it's called an in-transit visa if you can get it. Tafari, I got my green card through my father. My kids are currently visiting me on a B1, B2. They're 4-year-olds. What's the fastest way for them to stay permanently? If you got your green card through your father and you were on a waiting list for your green card, it was not an immediate relative, meaning that you were either under 21 and were included on your father's petition, or your father filed for you over 21. It depends. Because if your father filed for you, there's 3 possibilities. Let me take it back because I'm kind of mumbling this answer. If your father was a U.S. citizen and you are under 21, you have to file new I-130s for your children, and they're not going to be able to adjust their status right now. If you filed for you over 21 and you got your green card, then your children are derivative on your father's application. They get the old priority date. They would be eligible to adjust their status as derivative following to join. If you were derivative on your father's case, then you would have to file an I-130. So I need to know how you got your green card. I know it's through your father, but there was 3 possibilities. Additionally to my first question, more questions from Tafari. Additionally to my first question, my stepson is visiting me on a B1, B2. His mom and I got married in Jamaica. How can I make him live with me permanently? I got my green card through my dad. Again, would need to know more about what was the process your dad went through to get your green card. Arslan Umar, hi, I need to acquire about, I submitted an I-824 for my spouse. It's 1 year in USCIS Potomac Center. How can I expedite my case? You can request a humanitarian expedite because of severe economic, living conditions, or medical conditions. Doris, hey, Brad, my husband's children came in August. Their green card went somewhere else. They didn't get it. What can they do? File a new I-90 for all of them. Payne, can I apply for guardianship on F1 visa for my grandparents? Are U.S. citizens? My lawyer said I need to file asylum first. You want to file for guardianship of your grandparents, or your grandparents want to file for guardianship of you? How old are you? I need to know more. Wendy, can someone on a visitor's visa get a work permit? How can it be done? I would need to have a consultation. We could figure it out. Kimberly, what forms do I fill out for a visit? I'm a U.S. citizen and want my mom to visit. She would fill out a non-immigrant visa application it's not you're filling out anything. It's your mom's filling out a non-immigrant visa application online, and she has to start the process from the country she's in. So you can't do it for her. Kimberly, if I change my status from visitor to student, can I travel outside the U.S.? You can, but you would need a new student visa to return, so you would have to go to the U.S. Embassy to get a new visa. Ingrid, what can I do to get my citizenship if my ex-husband divorced me right after I got my 10-year green card? Then you would have to wait 5 years from the time you got your conditional green card and file your citizenship without him. Tawan, how long does USCIS take to process an I-824? Over a year. John, hi, Brad. I have an N400 interview coming up. I got my green card by employment. I went back to my home country after asylum denied. Should I withdraw my N400? Well, I don't think you should withdraw your N400, but you better have a lot of questions about why it was safe to go back to your home country after all of a sudden you got your green card through employment. Just because you got your green card through employment doesn't mean all of a sudden your country becomes safe. But maybe you have a reasonable explanation. So I would need to know more. Kobe, hello, Brad. What documents can a U.S. citizen father prove for legitimation for his minor child for N600 or passport application? Legitimation is generally the father's name's on the birth certificate, and that's all that's needed. In most countries, there's no difference between legitimate and illegitimate children anymore. Hey, Brad, I want to invite my parents to my graduation through B1, B2, but I do not have a job yet and they cannot afford. Is there any way I can bring them? You can invite them, but they need to be able to prove that they're coming and going. It's really on them, not on you. Joe Deanne, I'm a PR for 5 years. I have an I-130 at the National Visa Center for my 5-year-old daughter in Jamaica. It's DQ since 23. I haven't heard anything over a year. What do you suggest? Well, it depends what your priority date is, because the priority dates for F2As are back in 2019. So if your priority date's not current, you're not going to hear. So it has nothing to do with documentarily qualified. It has to do with when you filed the I-130 for your child. Sharo, a citizen parent, filed for a married daughter in January 2010. I-130 approved May of 2010. She's now DQ since July of 2023, but the older child, who was 23, was dropped from the filing. What options does she have? Citizen parent filed for married daughter. I-130 approved. She's now DQ, but the older child is... Well, that child may be under the Child Status Protection Act, so I would certainly have an experienced lawyer like myself review, because I bet you that 23-year-old child's under the Child Status Protection Act and will be included on the case. All right, we're going to do a couple more questions, and that's it. Monica Macedo, hi, Brad. I overstayed a visa for 10 years and I applied for asylum last year due to fear of new circumstances in Mexico. Both parents are citizens and I take care of them due to being elderly. Is there a question in there? I don't know what the question is, Monica. JC, hi, Brad. I'm an undocumented in New York for 12 years, having 2 kids who are U.S. citizens. I married a U.S. citizen in 2018. And after that, he went to jail, and then I divorced him. So anyway, I can get my green card. If you divorced him in 2019, unfortunately, the time to have filed an abuse case, if there was abuse, was 2021. So there's no way you can get your green card through that marriage. You'd have to find a new way to do it. All right, last question in social media check-in. My biometric is done on the 29th of February, 2024. And my case was received on January 2024 by the National Benefit Center. How long will it take for an EAD? I should probably get it by May or June. All right, so that is our social media check-in for today. And do have to remind everybody, if you did not get your immigration questions answered, you can call the number at the bottom of the screen right now. Somebody will be there to answer it and help you set up a consultation with me. 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-LAWLINK, 1-800-529-5465. So on our last show, I spoke with Antoinette Tuff, who found her purpose in 2013 after talking down an active shooter in the Georgia elementary school where she worked. Today, we're going to hear the second half of our discussion about that fateful day and its impact on her life. She's the founder of a literacy and mentoring program for children, the author of Prepared for a Purpose. And Antoinette's story was showcased in Lifetime's Faith Under Fire, starring Toni Braxton. She offers advice for maintaining a healthy mind, body, and soul, even when facing challenging situations like immigration issues. Let's watch. With us today is Antoinette Tuff, and boy, does that name stick with her after you hear her extraordinary story. Her story is so extraordinary, Lifetime Networks aired a true life movie about her experience, the experience that happened on August 20th, 2013. Antoinette was working as a bookkeeper at the Ronald McNair Discovery Learning Center in Decatur, Georgia. This is what you were looking at when you went to work. A husband who left, depression, you tried to commit suicide, not knowing how to pay your bills, even though you have a job as a bookkeeper at this school. The gunman walked into this school. The gunman walks into the office. He announces to the two people in this office, one of whom is you. Okay? Yes. You are all going to die today. So a crazy man walks in with a huge rifle, a bag of ammo, announces you're going to die. How many children are in this school at this moment?
Over 870 children, staff, and parents.
And this is what grades?
It's pre-K all the way up to 5th grade.
Do we have part of the 911 tape of you calling the police to let them know that there is a gunman in the school? Let's take a listen.
Okay, police, what's addressing your emergency?
Yes, ma'am. I'm on 2nd Avenue in the school, and the gentleman said, tell them to hold down. The police officer are coming, and he said he's going to start shooting, so tell them to back off.
Okay, 1 moment.
Do not let anybody in the building, including the police. Do not let anybody in the building, including the police.
Okay, stay on the line with me, man. Where are you?
I'm in the front office. Oh, he just went outside and started shooting.
Okay.
Oh, can I run?
Can you get somewhere safe?
Yeah, I gotta go. No, he gonna see me running and call me back. Oh, hold on.
Put the phone down.
Bye.
All right, so I want you to know, I'm scared listening to this, and I'm not even there living it. When did it dawn on you that you have to have a conversation with this gunman?
I didn't even know I was telling the man my business, first of all. So that was not the plan for the day. I was just actually talking to him and praying to God and asking God, what do I say to him? Because right now, every word that proceeds out of my mouth can be life or death. I didn't know at the moment until after all this was over with that I had told him all my business.
You told him your husband left, you're in debt, you have a disabled child, you almost wanted to commit suicide. You gave him your entire story.
I don't know to tell you if it was something that I said that made him communicate or wind up telling me his name. I don't know what that connection was, but that I was just asking God what to say to him.
At what point did he give himself up?
So I didn't know exactly when it was. All he did was, in the midst of me talking to him, in the midst of me telling him my story, he put all of the ammunition out of his pocket. Then he put the gun over there on the table beside me on that desk. And he just laid on the floor prostrate before the Lord and just let him come and get him.
He literally was in praying position.
He was in praying position. He lay prostrate on the floor with his hands behind his back like praying position.
Now, do you recall if there was something that you said that triggered him to do all of this?
I think it was a combination of me being in that relationship with God, being able to allow God to use me to be able to speak to that young man, to be able to let him know that at the end of the day that God loved him and so do I. I don't think God allows you to go through anything in life for nothing. I think everything has a purpose and a destiny to take you where you need to go. So I know that those moments that I was having at my lowest moments allowed me to be able to go in and write my book to the magnitude that I did. And that was why it was important for me for it to be called Prepared for a Purpose, because I think we're all prepared for a purpose in some kind of way.
Right.
And so we just don't know what that way is going to be. We don't know how God's going to call our name or call our number, and if we'll be ready for it when he does. So for me, what that incident has allowed me to be able to see that I always had a love for kids. I've always been that mommy.
Right.
So that's nothing new for me to be able to love that young man, because I didn't see a gunman. What I seen was a young man who was 20 years old, just as the same age as my own kids. He was in a position that he was calling out for help. So it becomes, who's going to hear my cry? Who's going to look outside of what you see on the outside, come into the inside and know that at the end of the day, I'm calling out for somebody to hear me. I'm calling out for help. So for me, what I do today now is I go back into that same school district where the gunman held me hostage. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I do a one-on-one mentoring program. and it's called Kids on the Move for Success Discovery STEAM Mentoring Program. And we affect kids in the elementary, because I believe that if we go back and get these children at a young age, we can make a difference.
The police came in after he got in the prayer position, and what was that commotion like when the police came in?
It was another level of fear. I was already afraid, because when they came in, you see it on TV when the SWAT team come in,
Right.
and they,
You can imagine they burst in like
Yes.
20, 30 people with guns blazing.
And it's like they got guns, they got all this armor on their faces, and they coming in and just moving. And I mean, it was just another level of uproar. So for me, I was afraid even more so, even though I know I was being rescued and protected, it still didn't stop the level of fear. And then for me also, I looked at that young man that was laying on that floor prostrate before the Lord. I knew his life was going to change. I knew that what he knew before would no longer be his life. And was he going to be able to survive in the process of it?
Now, he's in jail for 20 years. He had psychological issues. You potentially saved 823 children, plus God knows how many police officers and first responders. You yourself saved your own life for all of this. You are now helping others. Let me ask you a question, because this is an immigration show, and there's lots of people who feel overwhelmed in their life. They feel helpless, especially with their immigration situation. What can you tell people that can help them try to overcome their issues that they're facing?
I take out every morning at 6 o'clock and have quiet time with God, and I pray. Because for me, it starts my day off right, and no matter what comes on my shoulders, it doesn't seem like it's weighing me down, because I know that God has my back. And so what I would say to them is that I know life doesn't always look the way we want it to. I know it doesn't always turn out the way we think it should be. But one thing I've learned in this process is that God gives us all a red carpet. And the red carpet starts when we're born. And so you go through things in your life and the carpet starts unfolding, and you'll get a little hiccup. Husband leave you, this going on, your kids acting up. So the red carpet stops, because now you got to kind of get in control of what's going on with your life. And then God says, he says, I see my child down there needing a little something. So he showers you with blessings. And so then your red carpet starts to unfold again. I know that God can change it around for whoever's watching this show. So don't look at what you're seeing right now in your life. Just know that every moment is subject to change.
And every moment in life has a purpose for the next moment. You may not realize it at the time. And if you leave this world a little better, you're leaving it a lot better. But if you leave it a little better than when you came here, you led a purposeful life. And you certainly discovered that through under the barrel of a gun. And they made a Lifetime Network movie. Toni Braxton, Grammy Award winner. How did it feel to have Toni Braxton play you?
It was awesome.
Antoinette Tuff, and that's, by the way, a beautiful picture with you and the Obamas. And if anybody lives up to their last name, I think it's you. You are living a purposeful life, and congratulations to you. You saved 800 plus children and other human beings, and certainly you are a hero in anybody's book, and thank you for coming on our show.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be on here with you. And I'll say to the audience, at the end of the day, no matter what it looks like in your life, everything is subject to change.
Amen. That's true. All right. So that was Antoinette Tuff. Thank you very much for joining our show, Antoinette. We still have our speed round where I'm going to answer, was it 9 or 10 immigration questions? I forgot how many I have to answer. 10 immigration questions in 50 seconds. Let's do it. All righty. Woo! I got to stretch. Ready? We're going to do it. All right. 3, 2, 1. Let's do it. How much longer to hear from NVC for a 2014 F3 Caribbean? Oh, you're going to wait like at least 5 more years. Is it faster for a citizen to file for an adult child while she's in the U.S. or Jamaica? Doesn't matter. How long is the wait for humanitarian reinstatement approval? Close to 3 years. Can a U.S. citizen father-in-law file for his daughter-in-law and grandchild? No, you can file for your own children. Can I adjust my status if I travel to the U.S. on an ESTA if you're married to a U.S. citizen? Yes. Can you apply for a B-1 visa while your I-130 is processing? You can, but it'll probably be denied. Is processing time less for siblings if I'm in the military? No, it's not. Can I come to the U.S. on a visitor's visa and get a green card through investment? That depends what your investment is. Is there a waiver for an LPR with 20-plus year old felony? Depends what the felony is. Can a green card holder travel to Puerto Rico without travel documents? Yes. 3 seconds. Oh, I did it. 3 seconds. Oh, my God. I thought I was going to blow myself up. Whoa. I was getting nervous. Thank you very much. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. I did it. Wow. I was getting scared there for a second. All right. Now, calm down, audience. Calm down. Calm down, audience. All right. I did it. All right. So here's the time of our show when we're going to do our comments of the day. Let's do it. All right. Our first comment of the day comes from Jessica Leamy. I have graduated from Bradshaw Live College with my 10-year degree. Congratulations, Jessica Leamy. Our next comment of the day comes from Star Girl Mika Brad. I'm here. Way to go, Star Girl. Our next comment today comes from Joyce Henry. Brad, the best immigration lawyer in America. God bless you and your amazing team. Thank you very much, Joyce. And our last comment of the day comes from I Am Phoenix. To everyone in the chat, I had a very difficult case as well. 3 lawyers told me it wasn't possible. Spar and Bernstein were the only ones to say yes, and we did it. Big up, Brad. I love it. Oh, there's more. 2 years later, I had my green card. Don't wait. Hire Spar and Bernstein. Ask about their payment plan. If you can't come up with all the funds all at once, trust me, you will not regret it. Big up, Brad. Way to go. That was the best comment of the day. Thank you very much. And we have come to the conclusion of the end of our show. We will be back. And for updates when we will be live again, please like and subscribe to Bradshaw Live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Brad Bernstein Law on TikTok. We will update you all when I'll be back live again. It's going to be sooner rather than later, so stay tuned. Have a great evening, everybody. See you soon. So, Sam, as part of the production, we have to say this disclaimer at the end of the show. Do you mind reading it for me?
Okay, but you know, Brad, I have to do everything around here.
Forget it. I'll do it. The proceeding was information only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein Law Firm, located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easy to remember, 1-800-LAW-LINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. And visit us now at our Connecticut office, 221 Main Street, Suite 501, Hartford, Connecticut. Visit us in Connecticut or in New York at 225 Broadway. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAW-LINK, 1-800-529-5465. What are you doing?